Welcome to the Kingdom of Pod. Here I am, Jeff Caves, live from Flower Mound, Texas, with another edition of the Kingdom of Pod, a commitment to Boise State football, brought to you by Bet Online. Coming up, a breakdown of Boise State and Colorado State. We'll also take a closer look at some of the things around the football team that have gone on. This buddy system that Boise State has come up with, a former athletic director finds a new home, and we'll also comment, of course, on the results of Boise State and Colorado State today. But don't forget, this edition of the Kingdom of Pod and all editions are brought to you by Bet Online. Head over to the new updated desktop or the mobile Bet Online website so you can get everything that you need. It's all there to bet on college and pro football and anything else that you would want to bet on, including the World Series, which a lot of people are. And if you sign up today, you'll get a 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Just use the promo code BELIEVE50 to get your bonus. Let's get right to the breakdown of this football game, Boise State and Colorado State. And the thing about Boise State's offense against Colorado State's defense first to take into consideration is the state of the offense, the pass protection that has broken down. And this is the best pass rush possibly in the conference versus one of the most leaky pass protection teams in the conference. And there's a lot of reasons for that in terms of the responsibilities of pass protection. It starts with your quarterback. It can even start with your snap, and everything compounds on itself. If you're not sure the snap's coming out, you could be losing focus on your reads. Once you get the snap and you make sure you secure it, you're getting a little later to your reads. And once you get a little later to your reads, you can then be waiting a little longer to see if somebody's open rather than throwing to a spot, because you're losing confidence and you're not able to focus. And then we can get into not only the two tackles, the two guards in the center. There's a tight end involved in pass protection. There's blitz pickups with running backs. There's so much to work on here for Boise State, including Hank just holding on to the ball too long, that this could be a game where if they cannot run it and get rid of it quickly to the edges and bubble screens or however they want to get rid of the football, they could have a lot of trouble. You'd like to see Helani in this game. Habibi Likio. Either of those two guys, to me, fit the bill. You need some people who can make somebody miss, specifically Helani, healthy. At this point in the season, I don't know when he's coming back. I guess I'd be more surprised if I saw George lining up. But when it's just Andrew Van Buren, he's got some toughness. He's got some power, but he doesn't have any wiggles. He doesn't have explosive breakaway speed, so he's not somebody that's going to get you a down in and down out performance at the tailback position. This defense from Colorado State can play well. They held Iowa to under 300 yards, 55 yards rushing. They forced 8 punts against one of the better teams in the country. And on the other hand, this is a defense in Colorado State that gave up over 200 yards rushing to San Jose State. Yeah, they won the football game, but that's getting dominated up front. So a solid front seven for Colorado State, weaker in the back. I think for Boise State, this would be a throw-first game, maybe to anybody but tight ends. I looked at the tight ends, 16 catches as a group on the season. So they're pass blocking or they're not in the game altogether, as they've got better pass receiving options than a tight end, but you certainly lose some deception when you have a tight end that cannot catch the ball consistently to a high level. And so they're not using them. I'm sure if it gets so frustrated for Boise State, they may bring in an extra offensive tackle just to block. So the guy that look for is number 1 on Colorado State, Patchen. He's 6'6", 270, so you're not going to miss him. A transfer out of the University of Miami. He's already got 7 sacks. He's an edge rusher, so he's going to get some one-on-ones. Your tackles are going to have to play well. He gets about, 1.5 sacks. He assists on sacks as well. So it's not like he's the only guy, and it's not like if he doesn't get a sack and he gets pressures, that's a problem too. So this is the number 2 team in the conference in sacks. The biggest question you can put to rest and hopefully in this game is how Boise State does on the first down, because if they do well on first down, you put that question to rest, everything can fall into place. If they get a negative play on first down or a couple of yards and it's all of a sudden 2nd and 8, 3rd and 7, you're going to have issues. This offense has not performed as well in those particular situations. So I think, we're going to have to see what kind of fight is in the offensive group because I know they feel a lot of responsibility. You've got a very fired up Colorado State team averaging about 34,000 fans. And so defense, I think, plays with emotion more so than offense. And they want to beat Boise State for the first time. So I think that's a key challenge. Boise State's defense is Colorado State's offense. It's a run-heavy offense. They're going to run the football or they're going to throw it to Trey McBride. And that's how they're going to control a football game. If you go into it going, Boise State's not that great against a run. Well, tell that to BYU. They were pretty darn good there. That's the kind of effort that's going to be required in this particular game. From there, Colorado State has a short, controlled passing game. McBride, the tight end, one of the best in the country, is a top-round NFL draft pick. 55 catches so far. He has 15 more catches than Shakir. So if you think Boise State's offense revolves around Shakir, wait till you see the pass offense from Colorado State. Now, it's a tough matchup for Boise State when he gets on linebackers. He is 6'4" against a shorter, wimpy, or Noah Boise State's linebacker. So it'll be interesting to see how they play that. But if it's short yardage or a third down play, they're going to throw it to McBride from Colorado State. You got to limit his yards after the catch. And at the end of the day, make the other players beat you. Because nobody on this team has caught more than 14 balls on the season. McBride's got 55. Nobody else has more than 14. This is a run football team or throw it to the tight end. And I would make anybody but the tailback and the tight end beat you. I'd give up all kinds of things. And I'm sure everybody's tried that, and Boise State will as well. Or they'll try to beat them straight up. And they'll mix things up, as they'll always tell you. But I think that's a trend you can watch. So if somebody's starting to catch a lot of balls other than McBride, and McBride still gets his 8 catches, there could be a big problem here for this afternoon for Boise State. But I'm going to believe in this team's ability to recover. I think especially with an extra week to retool, I think they should win this game by 4 to 7 points or more, really. And frankly, it's time that if they do not win this football game and they go to Fresno and potentially take a loss there because it's a tremendous quarterback with a great football team at home, where Boise State's had better teams than this one and lost, the wheels could be falling off at 3-6, and all of a sudden, to me, it's who's buying in where the coaches are going and who isn't. And there's a real opportunity for division. And that's not how you conquer things, right? Divide and conquer. So Boise State has to really focus on it play by play and not get that far out ahead of themselves, which I know Andy Apsey had to have spent some time on this. Fans can spend all the time they want on it. And to me, that is a caution. If they do not win this football game and they come out of here 3-5 and they go down to Fresno and they go 3-6, you're going to have this division in this football team with, at that point, like 3 games to go in the season. And they're going to start making choices about who they are, where they're going to be, who's on the bus, who's not. And it can get ugly. This is a new thing for Boise State. I was reading about this commitment to the buddy system that Andy has gone back to, where players are sort of calling each other to make sure they come to practice on time. And, it's really just more of an example to me of, if you've been involved in football or followed it for a long time, the differences and changes in where we are with working through 18 to 22-year-old kids who are achievement-oriented and playing college football. And you can't necessarily get the best out of them when they're not performing up to their potential with fear-based punishments. It's a new thing that Andy, I think, is trying to try, and that's peer-to-peer. But that is a hard thing to do as well, as far as I understand it. You got a 3-4 team. Is this a lack of commitment that some of these players have? The division then has already started. When you start questioning somebody's commitment to something because they're late to a meeting, or they're not putting out in practice, or they're looking for a scoring play to put on a TikTok video, then you've got issues that are better to come out early in Andy's tenure than later, but that's something that's going to have to be addressed. One other thing I want to touch on this Kingdom of Pod, Kurt Apsey, Boise State's former athletic director, has taken a job at San Diego State, essentially in fundraising as they get that new stadium project going. Kurt, who helped totally redo Bronco Stadium and then Albertson Stadium and the Stickle Sky Center, and that was all his doing and designing and organizing the sales function. he will probably do something very similar for San Diego State. I think it's the best thing for him. I think he's going to be worth more down there. There's not going to be questions at San Diego State about all the little intricate details about what didn't work at Boise State while he was the athletic director. That's not going to happen. People will pretty much just come away with, hey, welcome to come today. Hey, you're at San Diego State. I want you to show you the new stadium. I'm the athletic director now. I want to introduce you to our executive associate athletic director, Kurt Apsey. Kurt, by the way, was the athletic director at Boise State. They won the conference a couple of times, and they'll go on all accolades, and that's it. And the person who's going to give money to San Diego State, wow, you got Boise State's former AD working for us now? That's awesome. It won't go any further than that. Sure, a few people may look into it further, but for the majority of them, no. This is a win for San Diego State to have a former Boise State administrator at their place working for them, doing some fundraising. So I think Kurt will benefit from it. San Diego State will benefit from it. And who knows, if he ever wants to come back to Boise, Idaho to live out his professional career or just personally enjoy it, some time away may be the best thing for it. So I think a clean break is a good thing for all people involved. I think it's been very difficult for Kurt to raise money for Boise State. Not that he couldn't do it strategically, but once your athletic director's position, was not cleared up in terms of resigning or firing or whatever, that's very difficult to get involved in. So I wish him nothing but the best. I hope you've enjoyed this edition of the Kingdom of Pod. I'm trying this video piece for some of you to take a look at it and enjoy this part of it. I'll hope you rate, review it, go and subscribe to it, or send me an email, and I'll get it to you on the Kingdom of Pod, brought to you by Bet Online. See you next week.